You don't want it. Hi, my name is Ethan. Today I'll be talking about 6 Chinese Chengyus. The first Chengyu is 水滴石穿. There is a peculiar story regarding the water drop and the axe. The axe and the water drop were next to a big rock. One day, the axe challenged the water drop and bragged, "Let's have a competition on who can make a hole in the rock first." The axe excitedly smashed the rock as hard as he could, leaving a few white marks. Seeing that this would take a while, the axe decided to stop. However, the water drop kept tripping on the rock. Years later, the one who actually made the hole was a water drop. What happened to the axe? He rusted and turned into scrap metal. This tells us that if we have a targeted goal and keep striving to achieve it, we can do it. Our next Chengyu is 磨处成真. There happened to be a naughty boy named Li Bei in the Tang Dynasty of China around 1,300 years ago. Li Bei did not enjoy studying and often sneaked out of class. Whenever he faced a challenging question, he would easily give up. Therefore, he made little progress in his studies. One day, while Li Bei ran away from class, he walked by a creek and encountered a granny rubbing a large chunk of metal on a rock. Li Bei curiously asked the granny, "What are you doing?" The granny told Li Bei, "I am rubbing this chunk of metal into a needle." Li Bei thought it was very bizarre, so he asked again, "Making a needle? How are you going to rub this bar of metal that's so thick and hard into a needle?" The granny replied, "Of course I can. If I rub today and tomorrow and rub every day without stopping, then I can rub this bar into a needle." After hearing this, Li Bei realized if you have a targeted goal and keep on persevering, then you can succeed. From then on, Li Bei studied intently and made great progress. Later, Li Bei became a famous poet. This Chengyu is 精诚所至，金石为开. In the Western Han Dynasty, there was a famous military general called Li Guang. He was valiant and skilled at archery, earning him the nickname Flying General. One day, Li Guang went out into the wilderness to hunt. Suddenly, he spotted a tiger. He quietly pulled out his bow, aimed precisely, and released the arrow with tremendous strength. Li Guang knew his aim was excellent, so he walked into the bushes, expecting a dead tiger. Instead, he found a rock shaped like a tiger. The arrow was fully inside the rock. Li Guang was astonished by his strength and decided to try it again. Unfortunately, he failed all of the following attempts. When he returned to town, the news spread about how he could not pierce the rock after the first time. The people were curious and confused, so they decided to ask a famous scholar called Yang Xiong. He told them, "If you have a firm attitude, you can achieve your goal." This Chengyu is 凿壁偷光. Guang Heng was a high-ranking official in the Western Han Dynasty of China. When Guang Heng was a child, he was fond of studying. However, his family could not afford to provide him with an education. During the day, Guang Heng had to work in the fields, so he could only read at night with moonlight. For nights without moonlight, Guang Heng would unhappily go to sleep. This happened until one night, Guang Heng discovered a small crack in the wall. Coming through that crack was a bright light. Guang Heng was delighted. From then on, Guang Heng could read every single night. This Chengyu is 悬梁刺股. In ancient China, there was a man called Sun Jing. He was eager to study and studied without break. The problem was that he kept falling asleep whenever he got tired. To solve this problem, Sun Jing hung a rope onto the ceiling and tied it to his hair. This ensured when he wanted to sleep, the rope would pull his hair, waking him up. Another man called Su Qin worked hard as well. He fell asleep frequently after studying for a long time. Su Qing's approach to solving this issue was to prick his legs every time he felt sleepy. They became famous scholars and significantly influenced the history of China. You can tell Sun Jing is on the right, while Su Qing is on the left. Our last Chengyu is 文一体武. Zhu Ti was an important figure in the Jin dynasty. When he was a child, he was disobedient and did not enjoy studying. One day, the teacher threw a rock at him and criticized him for wasting his life. Only then did Zhu Ti realize his dreams of serving his country and started intently studying. Zhu Ti visited many other cities to learn. In addition, Zhu Ti had a good friend named Liu Kun. Both of them had a dream of making their people richer and happier. To achieve this, Zhu Ti and his friend woke up every day when the rooster crowed. They practiced kung fu with their weapons. Years later, Zhu Ti and his friend became mighty generals. Thank you for listening and see you next time. Bye!